This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
What's going on, Washington Commanders Nation? It's your boy Rio Robinson, back with the latest and greatest on the Rambling with Rio YouTube channel, where we ramble about our Washington Commanders. Today is Tuesday, August 6th. We are 4 days away from Washington's preseason opener at the New York Jets. We are 2 days away from starting joint practices with the New York Jets, but we got news on a Tuesday morning. It is now unofficial depth chart day. But before we get to the unofficial depth chart with 3 rookies headlining the starting lineup on the offensive and defensive side of the team, this video and all videos this football season will be brought to you and powered by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino. Looking for a new book this fall? BetUS is your answer. Fastest payouts in the industry, up to a 125% sign-up bonus for up to $2,000 on your first 3 deposits. That's where you're going to want to do your sports betting this fall. Why wait? Sign up at my unique creator link in the description below. But let's talk about what you guys are here for today. Unofficial depth chart numero uno. Every offseason, it's an annual tradition, a tale as old as time. The unofficial first depth chart comes out league-wide. And we're not supposed to be too irrational or reactionary when it comes to the depth chart. But F all that. I am a fan. So you know what we do. The media makes a big deal about it. So why would we not make a big deal about the depth chart? Washington's first official depth chart is out. You know the dog and pony show, the formality, the earn it situation when it comes to the quarterback situation. We can now put that to bed as the first unofficial depth chart is out. They even tried to get Dan Quinn in the presser this morning when he was talking about the depth chart. Jayden Daniels was officially named your starting quarterback unofficially. Unofficially named the starting quarterback. And they asked Coach Quinn, so is he going to start on Saturday for the preseason game? And he repeated, Jayden is the starting quarterback on the first unofficial depth chart. You know how this goes. You know these are formalities, but let's get into it. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of it. Dan Quinn said Jayden Daniels has surpassed my expectation. He's surpassed my expectations for the readiness of the command of the position. Said he's not surprised that Jayden already knows the system given how he works. Teammates just gravitate towards him. Who's surprised that Jayden Daniels is your starting quarterback on this first unofficial depth chart? I, for one, am not surprised, but let's go down the full offensive unofficial starters. Terry McLaurin starting at your X receiver. We already knew that was coming with Diami, Bryson Tremaine, and Davion Davis as his 3 backups. Starting left tackle, Brandon Coleman, rookie from TCU, edging out Cornelius Lucas and Alex Akingabalu, who was just injured in practice the other day. Left guard, free agent acquisition from the Super Bowl back-to-back champion Chiefs. Nick Allegretti's holding it down with Chris Paul and Mason Brooks backing him up. Center, we already know when we gave Tyler Biadasz the bag coming over from Dallas, he was the guy. That's Dan Quinn's guy. He will be backed up by Michael Dieter and Ricky Stromberg. Right guard, Sam Cosmi got that locked up. He's in let's earn a bag mode for this season. So this guy's trying to get paid. So we already knew the vibes when it comes to Sam Cosmi. Health would be the only thing keeping Sam Cosmi off the field. Let me give y'all a zoom so y'all can get a little better look at this here depth chart. So let's move. Right tackle, still Andrew Wiley as of right now. I know he's missing time with quote unquote tightness, but Andrew Wiley is still your current starter at right tackle. And hopefully we see a more improved Andrew Wiley with Trent Scott and Braden Daniels and David Nwuwu. I hope I didn't butcher that name. I'm pretty positive that I did. Those are the 3 guys backing up Andrew Wiley on the first one. So before we go to the rest of the skill players, let's look at the starting offensive line. This is what we expected for the most part, with the question mark being Andrew Wiley. We have 3 new additions on this line. So Sam Cosmi and Wiley were already here. The center and the entire left side of the line are all Adam Peters specials. Our new GM selected the starting left tackle, selected the starting left guard, and selected the center in free agency. You know, it feels good. I'm not saying every single person Ron brought in here should be automatically supplanted, but I am kind of saying that at the same time. I want to see Adam Peters come here and put his blueprints and fingerprints all over this organization. The offensive line that was getting Sam Howell sacked so much, but I mean, there was a blame pie to divvy up, but the offensive line was pretty bad for the majority of last year. We have 3 new starters on the offensive line and a new starter at quarterback and a new starter at slot receiver are in the slot right now. Free agent acquisition, late free agent acquisition, Alameda Zaccheaus is starting over Luke McCaffrey, Casimir Allen, and Byron Pringle at the moment. I think Pringle's shot to make the roster would be if he was to win the kick returning job or punt returning job, which Jamison Crowder has the edge on right now. So at wide receiver, Terry on one side, Jahan Dotson in year 3, a huge year 3 coming in, Alameda Zaccheaus in the slot. Our guy, JD5, Jayden Daniels, rookie quarterback sensation, Heisman Trophy winner out of LSU, is starting at quarterback with Marcus Mariota, Jeff Driscoll, and Sam Hartman rounding out the QB room. And the running back, we already know how that is. Brian Robinson Jr. is your primary back. Austin Eckler is your primary starting utility third down extraordinaire. And B-Rob will be backed up by C-Rod and Michael Wiley, and Austin Eckler's backups are Jeremy McNichols and Austin Jones. That is your first official depth chart for the offensive side of the ball. Let's move to the defensive side of the ball. Not too many surprises here. On the edge, 2 free agent additions. Clelin Ferrell, the guy who kept Chase Young off the field in San Francisco last year, former top 5 pick by Mike Mayock, John Gruden, and the Raiders, is going to be starting on the outside opposite Dorrance Armstrong, one of Washington's premier free agents we signed this offseason. Dorrance has not been given a chance to be a full-time edge rusher yet. He's going to get a chance to stack on the production that he put out in Dallas. 8 sacks in very limited time. Wonder what it would look like over a full-time resume. You already know who the defensive tackles are: the Alabama Wall, Daron Payne, Jonathan Allen. It's exciting to see how good they can be with guys that speak their language, with actual good coaching. I've been watching Get Loud and Command Center podcasts, and Fred Smoot makes a great point when he says, don't necessarily give 100% of the players the blame for how bad it looked last year, because everyone was bad. Even Payne and Allen was bad. His point was that when I see badass kids, I don't blame the kids. I blame the parents. So the people teaching, instilling values in the authoritative figures, I blame them and not the children. The children also have to go represent for the family, especially when the children are grown-ass millionaire men football players. But I do understand the logic in that, and it is a great point. We have not seen Payne and Allen play to their tippy-top ceiling before. I think Payne, we've seen close to it. Allen, we've seen a good amount of it, but just how good could they be? And Clelin Ferrell will be backed up directly by KJ Henry. Daron Payne, Ridgeway, you already know. Jerzon Newton after John Allen. You have to look to the end of the roster to see that garbage can Fadarian Mathis. I'm not even sure he makes the final roster. Well, they'll probably keep 5 or 6 defensive tackles, so they kind of have to. But Fadarian Mathis serves no purpose. I love that we are slowly and methodically purging out all of Ron's miscues as the coach, de facto team president, GM combo that he was here, because it was bad. So we got 5 new offensive starters, and let's look at how many new defensive starters we have. Clelin Ferrell, Dorrance Armstrong. It has Dante Fowler listed as an outside linebacker. I'm imagine that's going to be in a pass rush variety, because we're going to be running a lot of 2-backer sets with Bobby Wagner at Mike and Frankie Louvu as the other roaming outside linebacker that will sometimes be a pass rusher. Look at all these new starters on defense. Jeremy Chin, new starter. Quan Martin, new starter. Michael Davis, new starter. Mike Sanders, new starter. Frankie Louvu, Bobby Wagner, Dante Fowler, Dorrance Armstrong. The whole fucking defense is new starters at this point. And this was so needed. So when guys see Washington on the schedule and they're, oh, we already know who y'all are. Oh, y'all were ass last year. This is a completely new team. I'm talking 13 of the 22 players on the first unofficial depth chart are players who just got here. Players starting here for the first time. Quan Martin was here last year, didn't start. That is your starting free safety right now. Your middle linebackers, the biggest upgrades we've added to the team were at quarterback and at middle linebacker. We've added over 300 tackles and over 6 sacks worth of production from last year in Bobby Wagner and Frankie Louvu. We have outside linebacker Dante Fowler. That's a pass rusher. Him and Jayden are going to be pass rushers. I'm going to put this whole other outside linebacker position as pretty much full-time pass rushers because Jayden has clearly been phased out of the linebacker aspect of the defense. And Mikey Sanders still another rookie. Shout out to these. Let's give a round of applause to our rookies, by the way, for coming in and being as advertised. Jayden comes out, learns the offense, starting job, easy. Brandon Coleman, who Quinn has said has far exceeded expectations for him so far. Starting left tackle. Love to see it. Mikey Sanders still. Nickel extraordinaire, Nick Saban's favorite defensive player in the entire draft, favorite pound-for-pound player in the entire draft. Excuse me. Comes out. There's no question about his position. No question at all. He has the mindset. He has the moxie. I don't know if you guys seen Jahan's mic'd up, but there was a fun little moment in there where Jahan caught a pass and he was coming in pursuit. And he followed him and he was like, oh, yeah, I caught you. He was like, no. The lineman was going to clean your ass up. He was, oh, no, you're tripping. Just seeing the banter between them, the confidence. This is a guy who was once a wide receiver who now plays nickel corner. That's one of the hardest transitions. He made it immediately, became a second-round pick, and is now a day one starter, contributor, and going to be an impact player on the Washington Commanders defense. Let's go to the cornerback position. Very interesting. Second year, first round pick, Emmanuel Forbes Jr. listed as cornerback 3 on the outside cornerbacks. He is Benjamin St-Juste backup, and he's backed up by Chigozie Newsium, the undrafted free agent guy with some good size. The starting corners are Michael Davis, the free agent coming over from the Chargers, Benjamin St-Juste on the outside, with Forbes and Tariq Castro Fields as the 2 backup outside corners, and James Pierre and Nick Whiteside finishing out that room. Very, very interesting. You know what I love? That Forbes is not being forced on the field just because he was a first-round pick from another regime. They're coming in. They have an identity that they want to establish. They're going with the guys they brought in here. They brought in Michael Davis. I know you can look at Michael Davis and say he gave up 9 touchdowns on the Chargers defense last year, but that defense, just like some of our players you can give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt because it was an absolute dumpster fire season. Michael Davis, I guess you got to give him that same type of benefit of the doubt, but size-wise, scheme-wise, he is a Dan Quinn cornerback. So him and St-Juste, 2 lengthy cornerbacks on the outside with Mike Sanders still on the inside. I think cornerback speed is still going to terrify me a little bit because I don't think we have any burners. Mike Sanders still does not bother me at all. He is more athletic and more fluid. He has good hips, good feet, good instincts. I'm not worried about him. On the outside, I wish we had a little bit more speed. I would love to see Forbes win one of these starting jobs. And that starting job he's going to have to win would probably be Michael Davis's starting job. But I know these depth charts are unofficial, but I think most of this, barring injury, is going to stand going into the regular season unless someone goes absolute ape shit during the preseason. But let's talk about the safety position. We're going from Cam Curl and Derek Forrest to now Jeremy Chin has taken over at strong safety, and you know they got a plan for Jeremy Chin. He's going to be used as a linebacker. He's going to be coming in on blitzes, used sometimes as a pass rusher, and he's going to play strong safety. If we can bring him back to his production of his first season or two in the league before injuries started to plague him in Carolina, and a contract earning situation here, 1-year deal, we may have a baller safety tandem. Quan Martin, someone we used to call Twitter fingers. You know what happened early in preseason last year where it looked really bad and he had to eventually delete his Twitter for a little bit because he was on there liking every post of every fan that had something negative to say about him. He flashed at times, caught a game-winning interception, made some plays, and was usually in the right place in coverage in Jack's weak-ass system last year. They have big plans for Quan Martin in this defense. This is your free safety, can come down in the nickel and the slot, Swiss Army knife type of guy. But I think they like his ability to be sort of a center fielder, single high type safety as well. The safety pairing of Jeremy Chin and Quan Martin is probably the most athletic safety pairing we've seen in quite some time here. Quan Martin's going to be backed up by special teams ace Jeremy Reeves, Percy Butler, and then Tyler Owen. So Percy Butler's a third string. Derek Forrest, Defo, a fan favorite here in DC, is backing up Jeremy Chin. I expect that to stay that way. They brought in Jeremy Chin to start here. So Derek Forrest, I got my eyes on you. Emmanuel Forbes, I got my eyes on you. Then let's move down to the special teams unit. Tressway, starting punter, never doubted it. For the time being, Ramiz Ahmed, I believe it's Ramiz. I've been saying Ramiz the whole time. I apologize for name butchering. It's a habit of mine. It's a thing that I do. They call him Miz in press conferences. So let's say his name is Ramiz Ahmed. Is currently your starter with Riley Patterson as the backup. The kicking competition will matter when it comes to joint practices and preseason game. And my prediction is this is one of the few positions you see on this depth chart that's going to flip-flop by the time the season comes around. We know Tressway is the holder. Long snapper Tyler Ott. The only thing I will say about Tyler Ott, please do not be a headline. Please, I hope to never hear the name Tyler Ott ever again, because long snapper is one of those positions in football we should never have to talk about. Names should never be a mere utterance in football conversation. Tyler Ott, do your job, snap the ball. None of that Cameron Cheeseman shit, please. Kick returner, surprise here. Your starting kick returner right now is Noah Igbenogany and Kazmir Allen backing him up. So your kick returners are Noah Igbenogany, free agent corner brought in this year, and Kazmir Allen. And your starting punt returner, which I do not think is going to change, is Jamison Crowder. I think Jahan's here as that emergency, like star player. We need some oomph. We need a play to be made type thing. I don't think they're going to have Jahan running back punts or anything like that. But no surprises on the special teams front so far. But I think Riley Patterson ends up winning the kicker position. But whoever has a better summer, job is yours. Not too concerned about it. Let me know what were your major takeaways from Washington's depth chart. So bottom to top, Tressway is your kicker. Tressway is your punter. Ahmed is your kicker. Tyler Ott, long snapper. Kick returner, Noah Igbenogany. Punt returner, Jamison Crowder. Free safety, Quan Martin, Jeremy Chin, Michael Davis, Benjamin St. Juste, Mike Sanders-Still, Frankie Louvu, Bobby Wagner, Fowler Jr., Dorrance Armstrong, John Allen, Deron Payne, and Cleveland Farrell are your starters on defense. On the unofficial depth chart, Austin Eckler, B-Rob, Jayden, Jahan Dotson, Olamide Zaccheaus, Zach Ertz, Andrew Wiley, Sam Cosmi, Tyler Biadasz, Nick Allegretti, Brandon Coleman, and Terry McLaurin are going to be your first unofficial depth chart starters. Let me know in the comments whether they got it right, they got it wrong, or you're just not concerned about it. Let's just see how the rest of training camp and practices play out. Washington has their last training camp session that is open to the public today, because there was only 5 this year. We're a couple days away from our joint practice session in New York with the Jets, and then we got a preseason Saturday afternoon special preseason game at MetLife Stadium versus the Jets coming up this weekend. There will be content aplenty. I'll be doing a preview on that. And just another shout out to our sponsor, BetUS Sportsbook and Casino. Fastest payouts in the business, 125% bonus up to your $2,000 for your first 3 deposits. They will be powering the channel throughout the entire 2024 NFL season. Until next time, hail to the Washington Commanders. Commander Rio, out.
Michael Vick here at BetUS.com. Get it all. Huge bonuses, great odds, a race book, live in-game betting, and a casino. BetUS, my online sports book and casino.